9 people walked into a mountain in Russia. Their tent was found ripped open from the inside. Their bodies were scattered across the snow. Some had no shoes, some had no clothes. None of them survived. No one knows what happened. Not the Soviet investigators, not the scientists, not the families who waited for answers for decades. This is the Dyatlov Pass Incident, the mystery that has haunted the world for over 65 years. January 1959. 10 young students and hikers leave a small Russian town called Sverdlovsk, led by a 23-year-old named Igor Dyatlov. Experienced, confident, ready for adventure. One member of the group turned back early. He said he had knee pain. He survived. He has never stopped thinking about what might have happened if he stayed. The group planned to reach the peak of Otertan Mountain, a routine trek for people of their skill level. They set up camp on February 1st on the slope of a mountain called Kholat Syakhl. In the local Mansi language, that name means dead mountain. They never reached Otertan. On February 12th, the group was supposed to check in from a nearby town. They didn't. Nobody panicked yet. Mountain delays happen. But by February 20th, nothing. No contact, no signal, no sign. Search parties went in on February 26th. They found the tent almost immediately, but what they found stopped them cold. The tent had been cut open from the inside, not torn, not blown open, cut. Someone from inside the tent had slashed their way out in a panic. Their belongings were still inside: food, boots, warm clothes. They left everything behind. In minus 30-degree temperatures, they ran into the dark, freezing night in their socks. The first 2 bodies were found about 500 meters from the tent, at the edge of a forest, near the remains of a small fire. Their hands were burned. They had tried to climb a tree. The branches at 5 meters high were broken, as if they were trying to see something or escape something above them. Here is the thing that makes no sense. These 2 men were wearing only underwear in sub-zero temperatures. They showed no signs of hypothermia confusion. Their movements were deliberate, purposeful. They were running on purpose. 3 more bodies were found on the slope between the tent and the forest. They appeared to have turned back, as if they changed their minds, as if they were going back to the tent, and something stopped them. But it was the last 4, found 2 months later, buried under 4 meters of snow in a ravine that would change everything. When they were examined, the forensic team went pale. One woman was missing her tongue, her eyes, her lips. Soft tissue, surgically removed. One man had his skull caved in, no external cuts, no weapon, as if something had delivered a force equivalent to a car crash without touching the outside of his body. The force required to cause those internal injuries was comparable to a high-speed car accident or an explosion. But there were no external injuries, no bruising on the skin, no cuts, just internal destruction. Then the radiation. The clothes of the hikers were tested. Several items showed abnormally high levels of radioactive contamination, specifically beta radiation. Where did it come from? Nobody on the expedition carried radioactive material. And then there were the photographs. The hikers had cameras with them. After the incident, investigators developed the film. Most of the photos were normal, but the last roll contained images that no one could explain. Blurry orange orbs, lights in the sky, taken from inside the tent. At night, locals in the area reported seeing glowing spheres in the sky above the mountain in late January and early February 1959. Military personnel 50 kilometers away reported the same phenomenon on the same nights. Soviet authorities closed the investigation. They sealed all the files. They told the families a compelling natural force caused the deaths. That phrase, a compelling natural force, that was the official explanation. The files stayed sealed for 30 years. When they were finally released after the fall of the Soviet Union, key pages were missing. Photographs were removed, entire sections redacted. Here is what keeps people awake at night: the tent, the way it was cut. The hikers chose to run into the freezing dark rather than stay in their shelter. Something scared 9 experienced, trained hikers so deeply that freezing to death outside seemed like the better option.
I have seen the aftermath of plane crashes, industrial accidents, explosions. I have never seen anything like this.
There is one more detail that almost nobody talks about: the skin. On several of the bodies, the skin had turned an unusual deep orange color. The hair had turned completely gray. Overnight, the hair turned gray. Overnight. In 2019, Russia reopened the investigation. They announced their conclusion: an avalanche. But scientists, avalanche experts, and survivors' families rejected the explanation immediately. The slope was too gentle. The snow conditions were wrong, and there had been no avalanche evidence found in 1959. None. There is something about this case that draws people in and doesn't let go. Researchers have dedicated their lives to it. Some have traveled to the mountain and come back changed. One Russian journalist who spent 3 years investigating the case said, "Some questions are not meant to be answered." The mountain? Kholat Syakhl? After the incident, the pass was officially renamed Dyatlov Pass. Local Mansi people refused to go near it. They said the mountain was angry, that it had always been angry, that their ancestors knew to stay away. There are 9 names: Igor Dyatlov, Zinaida Kolmogorova, Rustem Slobodin, Yuri Doroshenko, Yuri Krivonishenko, Alexander Kolovatov, Nikolai Thibaut Brignol, Lyudmila Dubinina, Alexander Zolotaryov. 9 names, 9 lives, 1 mountain, no answers. Theory 1, a secret Soviet military weapons test. The radiation, the internal injuries, the sealed files, it all points to a classified experiment gone wrong. The government covered it up, silenced the families, destroyed the evidence. Theory 2, infrasound, frequencies below human hearing. They cause panic, hallucinations, the feeling of being watched, of imminent death. The hikers may have been driven insane by sound they couldn't even hear. Theory 3, something else, something that doesn't have a name, something the Soviet files describe only as an unknown compelling force, something that still lives on that mountain.
We found them. We documented everything. And I still don't know. I don't think anyone will ever know.
The tent is still there, a memorial. Every year, hikers make the journey, some to pay respects, some searching for answers, some come back with stories they refuse to tell, and some don't come back at all. 9 people walked into a mountain. Whatever they saw, whatever they heard, whatever came for them in the dark of that night in February 1959, they took the answer with them, and the mountain has never given it back. The case remains officially unsolved.